I am going to get so much hate for this video, but I'm ready. Here we go. Bring it. Hey everybody, Kristen here from TotusWellness.com, and I'm here to tell you that you are likely not addicted to sugar because sugar is not inherently addictive despite what so many fitness influencers and doctors claim. So in this video, we're going to be covering why sugar is not addictive, but why you might feel addicted to sugar, plus provide a solution and a free resource at the end that is going to be super helpful for you if you feel like you have a sugar addiction. And I'm going to be debunking the most common myths around sugar. So let's get into it. Sugar is not inherently addictive. Now, before I get into it, you can become addicted to basically anything if it is your main coping tool. But that goes for practically anything, not just sugar. So by that logic, you shouldn't be able to eat or do anything, right? So sugar is not inherently addictive like heroin. But I completely understand you feeling addicted to sugar. I used to feel addicted to sugar at one point in my life, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one, again, maybe you're using it as a main coping tool. So yeah, you're probably going to feel addicted to sugar because your brain associates sugar to safety and comfort. You could also feel addicted to sugar if you are deliberately restricting sugar, or if you're restricting food or calories in general. So if you're eating like 1,200 calories a day, you're probably going to feel addicted to sugar. If your nutrition is inadequate or you're chronically stressed, these are all different reasons why you might feel addicted to sugar, despite the fact that sugar isn't the problem. There's actually an underlying problem there that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, the so-called sugar addiction that you have will never ever go away despite your best efforts at trying to restrict or remove sugar. And for all the people about to comment and say, well, what about the rat studies? What about the rat studies? If those rat studies showed us anything, it's that sugar only becomes addictive once it is restricted. And in fact, they didn't even prove that it was inherently addictive. All it really showed was that rats will binge eat sugar when it is restricted. So those rats were restricted or fasted for I think about 12 hours, and then they were given sugar and they binged on the sugar. But when rats were adequately fed and they had access to sugar, they actually didn't binge on the sugar. By the way, the same is true for humans. Now, I think you have to be careful with animal studies because just because it happened in a rat doesn't mean it's going to happen in a human. But I work with women every single day that once they are given permission to eat and they start healing other wounds that are causing them to crave sugar all the time, that gets rid of their sugar cravings and they don't have to restrict sugar deliberately. Now, there are so many videos going around about how you should restrict sugar because apparently sugar is like poisonous and addictive, even though it's not. Now, I'm not saying you should just be out here and your whole diet should just consist of ice cream and donuts. That is not what I'm saying at all. The overriding theme here is that to get all of the health benefits that people claim you can only get if you completely eliminate sugar or restrict sugar, you can actually get those same health benefits if you just learn to eat intuitively and you don't have to restrict sugar. You'll just naturally be pulled towards things that nourish your body moment to moment. And yeah, sometimes that includes eating foods with sugar, and it's not going to harm your health. There's a very popular doctor who's not actually a medical doctor, but he's a very big keto proponent, and he came out with this list of reasons why you should cut out sugar, and I'm going to debunk all of those reasons, so let's get into it. The first thing he says that if you stop eating sugar, you will lose your appetite to sugar. This is false. It doesn't happen. If you stop eating sugar, more than likely you're going to actually crave sugar more, your brain is going to fixate on sugar, and then you're going to feel like you have a sugar addiction, and then you're going to blame sugar. It's not sugar's fault, just, don't restrict it in the first place. Start healing old wounds or old, coping mechanisms that have led you to maybe binge eat sugar in an emotional way or whatever it might be. Maybe stop trying to diet, maybe address your chronic stress. Like there's a lot of things that might make you feel addicted to sugar, but I can tell you if you restrict sugar in the long run, it's probably going to make your sugar cravings worse. And then you're going to just assume that you're addicted to sugar when you're not. Number two. He says that if you restrict sugar, you're going to be less hungry. He tries to prove this by explaining very vaguely how our blood sugar works. He claims that if you eat apparently any amount of sugar, that your blood sugar is going to skyrocket. And of course, when it skyrockets, then insulin is produced, which then causes a sharp fall of your blood sugar. And when you're at the bottom of your blood sugar, when your blood sugar is getting too low, then you're going to crave sugar, which is partially true. except for this would really only happen if all you did was maybe wake up in the morning and eat a donut and some coffee. That would probably spike your blood sugar, and then maybe an hour or two later, you're probably going to get sugar cravings again. But y'all, you don't have to cut out sugar to balance your blood sugar. You could include a donut with breakfast and also an omelet with maybe some veggies and some avocado, things like that, and you're not going to have that massive blood sugar spike, and it's going to be fine. You're going to have steady energy throughout the rest of your day. So if you just eat intuitively and you learn to get in tune with your body and its signals and respond to those signals in a nourishing way, you actually don't have to eliminate sugar to have balanced blood sugar and stay full throughout the day and have far fewer cravings throughout the day. When my clients learn to eat intuitively, they stop binging and they stop having these overwhelming cravings and food thoughts. Cutting out sugar more than likely is not going to get you there. Eating intuitively, that will. Number 3, he claims that you will be less tired if you completely stop eating sugar. He again vaguely describes blood sugar and says that this is the reason you're feeling tired. And yes, if you're on like a blood sugar roller coaster where your blood sugar is going up and down and up and down, your energy is going to be weird because when your blood sugar starts to drop, you are going to feel more tired and fatigued. But guess what, y'all? Again, if you just start eating intuitively, if you start to recognize your hunger and your fullness cues, you will have steady energy throughout your entire day without completely eliminating sugar. Number 4, he claims you will lose excess water and fat. He doesn't do a great job of explaining why this is true. I think what he was getting at here is actually if you stop eating a lot of carbs or sugar at all, what will happen is you will deplete your glycogen stores, which by the way, you need those. Like, it is healthy to have glycogen stores, but when you deplete those, then water will follow and you will lose water weight. But again, that's not necessarily a good thing. Like, you don't necessarily want or need to be doing that. You should have proper glycogen stores, especially if you're working out. But then as far as fat goes, studies show over and over and over again that long term, if you're doing something like keto, which I think is what he's indicating here, that keto has no greater significant fat loss than really any other diet. And that's still 95 to 98% of diets fail. And so even if you do lose fat with keto or whatever diet you're going on, that more than likely you are going to regain the weight back, if not more. And that weight cycling and that yo-yo dieting is going to be way worse for your health than if you just never gave up sugar in the first place. Number 5, he says you're gonna have an enhanced mood. Again, he doesn't really explain why. I'm assuming it has to do with blood sugar. But again, if you just eat intuitively, I know I keep saying this, probably sounds like I'm beating a dead horse here, but you just eat intuitively, meaning you're nourishing your body based on listening to your body. Your mood's going to be stable because your blood sugar is gonna be stable. And actually, most people develop more anxiety once they start dieting or once they start restricting. If that's you, if you find that you have loads and loads of anxiety in your health journey, then it's probably because you keep trying to restrict foods, and that actually, if you found food freedom through intuitive eating, I guarantee you would find a much greater sense of peace and freedom. And I guarantee that because that is the number one thing that my clients tell me first happens when they start intuitive eating, is that they feel more peace and freedom in their health journey. Y'all, the sun is like blinding me right now. I have no idea how this is going to show up on camera, but I hope it shows up okay. All right, let's keep going. Number 6, he claims that your skin is actually going to look better if you completely eliminate sugar. Doesn't use a lot of great science to back this up. He talks a little bit about blood sugar and our hormones. Again, you do not have to completely eliminate sugar. In fact, when I had completely eliminated sugar, let's see, I did paleo, I tried even keto. This was years ago when I was stuck in diet culture. I had cystic acne. So when I eliminated sugar, actually my acne got worse. Now, it's not because I eliminated sugar and because of the elimination of sugar, my acne got worse. It just was because I had a horrible relationship with food. The anxiety I had around food was causing a lot of digestive issues, which then showed up as hormonal issues, which is why then I started getting cystic acne. So dieting as a whole is what eventually led me to getting cystic acne. But in the process of dieting, I was cutting out sugar and I had cystic acne. So this isn't necessarily true. Now, again, if your blood sugar is just out of control, it can increase blemishes on your skin, but you don't have to cut out sugar to get your blood sugar under control. I am being blinded here by the sun. Okay, I'm back. And finally, number 7, he says that you will have less stiffness, inflammation, and your organ function will be better. Again, there's like not a lot of good science here that he uses to explain why this might be true. But if you suffer from stiffness, inflammation, and poor organ functioning, totally eliminating sugar really isn't a good solution. Because number one, more than likely, it's not going to be sustainable for you. For most people, it just flat isn't sustainable. But number two, there's probably some other underlying things that are going on that absolutely need to be addressed. And if you just totally blame sugar, well, those things are not going to get addressed. Not to mention, I think it's really interesting when people talk about inflammation in the diet world and the wellness world, because again, a lot of times when people start dieting and they start weight cycling and they start yo-yo dieting and they start trying to do, paleo and all these clean eatings, and they develop all these rules and restrictions around food, that anxiety and stress actually increase, and chronic stress and anxiety will be inflammatory for your body. This is why I fully believe that healing my relationship with food and body did way more for my gut and hormonal health than anything else. Because when I was clean eating and not eating any sugar and following paleo and keto and intermittent fasting and all these things, my health was horrible. I had horrible IBS, I had horrible hormonal issues, I had extreme anxiety and depression. It was not good. Now that I eat intuitively, I feel a great sense of peace and freedom around food without major restrictions, and I'm still able to nourish my body consistently, and my health has improved dramatically. My clients have these same results. And by the way, so do their kids. I don't work directly with their kids, but when the parents start healing their relationship with food and they have less stress around health and food, their children's health begins to improve because there's just less stress and anxiety around food and around health as a whole. Not to mention that, but their kids will mimic their eating behaviors from their parents, and so their kids naturally start to eat intuitively as well. So this man finishes the whole video by saying, there you go, the proof is in the pudding. And I'm sitting here thinking, your cherry-picked pseudoscience is not proof, okay? Now, for all of you out there that are about to comment and say, well, I gave up sugar and I feel so much healthier, la, la, la. If you are truly able to eliminate sugar in a way that is sustainable, meaning you can sustain it for the rest of your life. You can sustain it during holidays. You can sustain it on vacation. You can sustain it anytime your routine is not on routine, meaning whenever life just happens. If you can sustain it through all of that and you feel a great sense of peace and freedom in your health, then by all means, keep restricting sugar. If it truly is working for you, then sure, I have no problem with that. But for the 95 to 98% of people where that will never work for them, and that trying to restrict sugar is actually creating a lot of yo-yo dieting, it's creating weight cycling and all these other things that are not good for your health, this video is for you. So if it works for you and it's sustainable and you have peace in it, then I ain't coming after you as long as it's not this, giant idol in your life that is consuming you. However, if you feel like you are addicted to sugar, if you feel like you're constantly stress eating sugar or going to sugar as a coping tool, or you feel like you're constantly overeating sugar, then I have the perfect solution for you. Down in the link is my free overeating masterclass. I highly encourage you to watch it. It is for Christians, but even if you're not a Christian, you are welcome to watch. All are welcome here, but I ain't gonna hide the fact that I am a Christian and that I support Christian values. Now, if you're looking for a proven system that cuts through all the noise, overwhelm, and shame around diet culture, wellness culture, and fitness, and you just want to finally feel at peace and free in your health journey, where you know that you are consistently nourishing your body without all this shame, guilt, and overwhelm, where you know that you are consistently taking care of your body as a temple of the Holy Spirit, then scroll down to the description and book your free discovery session, or head over to my website, totuswellness.com. The link is also below in the description. There you have it, guys. If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm going to say it one more time. You don't have to cut out sugar to be healthy. There's a much better way. If you like this video, make sure you share it, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.